One of the top ones for me, I think it's that you don't have to qualify your boundaries. It's really, I know we've talked about this before, but no is a full sentence. It's not a paragraph. It's not an apology. It's not a trauma essay. And the people that get mad about your boundary, they were benefiting from your lack of boundary. And this was something that I really had to learn because it became a habit for me to explain myself. The answer is no, because this is why.
Welcome to I Am Her, where spiritual meets spicy, F-bombs meet forgiveness, and shadow work occasionally throws glitter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to I Am Her, episode number 8. Number 8. Infinity. 8. Oh, wait. No, that's not what I wanted.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh.
There we go. Okay, I am Emmy.
And I am Tylene.
And we are so glad you are here. Okay, so let's just get right into it. How was your day today, last few days? What's been up with you?
2 words. Mercury-retrograde. I don't have the cool little thing to make my voice go, so maybe you can edit that.
Mercury-retrograde.
Yeah, like that. I feel like it has to be said like that because that's how much it's kicking my ass. But there's such duality in it. There's such like in the light and the dark, like with all the work. And you know, Emmy, we've just put in so much work into ourselves and our understanding and our standing in our power. And this last week, there's been a lot of shifts, a lot of endings, a lot of transitions into new territories, which can be really scary and exciting. And so it's just that up and down and just trying to remember the tools on your tool belt so that you can apply these things and filter them through. We've talked about this before, how my filter goes through the old me and then the new me still. And I don't know if that'll ever stop. I do think it'll get a little bit better with how fast I go through it. But I go through the old me and I'm like, wow, this sucks. And then I go through the new me pretty quickly. Like I'm talking within the same hour. And I'm like, okay, here's the silver lining. Here's what I learned. Here's how I can apply it. Here's my next move. And it's so in flow that it doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel forced. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to take a step back tonight and talk to you that I've been through these things. And we're not going to talk about it on here, but my conversation with my son's teacher is one of those things where I was able to filter and real time and have just a really powerful conversation that honored everyone involved. And so I think my day, my week, it's been challenging, but so good. Like so good. And I learn in real time. So I'm able to apply it. And I'm just really excited moving into next week, how things are going to transition or continue to transition. So
yeah,
that was a lot.
I know it was a lot, but that just shows you that the cocoon butterfly method, the 9 stages, you're applying it with sometimes without even realizing that you're applying it. It's almost like it just comes natural. Whereas before, it probably would have festered. You would have dwelled on it, and it just would.
Could be months. Could be months or years. Way back years.
Yeah.
You know.
Good job. Yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And you? Thank you. And Emmy, how was your day, week, last few days? Mercury-retrograde?
Mercury-retrograde.
I love how you said that on like a high note.
Yeah, so the last few days have been good. Yesterday I got a new car.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Y'all, Carvana, easiest and best thing I have ever done. It literally took me about 30 minutes-ish to find the right car. But it was super simple. The guy brought my car yesterday. I think I had to wait like 3 or 4 days just because I had
That's
to make
so
sure.
crazy though. It took you
Yeah.
30 minutes to find the right car. Like, because
Yep.
in my head, when I've gone, it's been my whole day is shot if I go car shopping and,
Yeah.
you know, or
That's
my
why
couple days, you know?
that's why this is online. I didn't have to go anywhere. I literally bought it online. And then the guy brought it yesterday and he was here for like maybe 25 minutes because he had to look at my car that I was trading in.
Make sure it wasn't like a lemon.
Yep. And then he brought my new car off of the loader and everything. And like I said, he was gone within 25 minutes. It was literally like the easiest thing. So we traded my 2017 Jeep Renegade, which I bought brand new, and I got a 2024 Chevy Equinox. And this thing has freaking Wi-Fi inside the car. Like, I had no idea all these bells and whistles that were in the car when I
Are you like
picked this
learning?
car. I'm like, why is there a little Wi-Fi symbol? There's like literally
You're like, what is this? Ooh, press that button.
There's a connection. There's a password. I'm like, what is this? And then I was reading the manual. I'm like, there's fucking Wi-Fi in my damn car. There's OnStar, like. But then it made me feel really good because I'm like, for so long we got by with cars that we just had to pay cash for cheap, you know? And so when I bought my Jeep, it was more out of necessity, but this one was really, I wouldn't say an impulse buy, but I recently paid my Jeep off and we needed something a little bit bigger. Our bodies just they're not getting any younger, you know? And we need a little bit more room. My granddaughter's getting bigger. And so yeah, I was really proud of myself for being able to have a car with all the bells and whistles and everything in it, you know, and not be worried about the money or anything else. And I don't say
I'm so proud of you.
I don't say that to brag because I have no more money than I did yesterday, right? It's just my mindset is completely shifted, you know, and I'm not worried about it. So, yeah, so that was yesterday. And then, yeah, also yesterday, you and we decided that we're going to Florida. Middle of January for Podfest, and I'm so stinking excited. We are going to be unaccompanied minors. And
like, who let us out?
I mean, literally, we're staying right by SeaWorld.
Yeah.
We probably won't go to SeaWorld, but I'm just saying.
Probably not.
We could if we wanted to.
We could if we wanted to. If we
right there.
If we find time and all the stars align and all these really cool podcasters want to not go to the bar and go to SeaWorld, we're in.
I mean, I'm sure they have an after hours party or something.
I mean, maybe we just don't know what's in line at this Podfest, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to SeaWorld and tear it up," and we'll be like, "Okay,
I'm there.
Say less."
Here we go. So yeah, so it's just been a good few days, you know. It's just been good. So yeah,
that's freaking awesome. Well, I feel like you and I are in some of the biggest seasons of our growth. And it's just fun that we get to unfold here real time. And I know once we get further along in our podcasting world, that we can come back to these episodes and be like, and laugh at them, right? And be like, oh my gosh, we were so cute. Like, I'm excited for that because I mean, there's moving boxes in my my backdrop, you know? And the old me would be like, okay, it's not perfect. I gotta buy this. I gotta whatever. And then And then I don't care.
You know what? I don't care either. Behind those white curtains, there's freaking wood paneling from like the 70s, and I don't give a shit because I'm looking
Nobody
forward.
cares.
I'm not looking behind me.
Hell yeah.
So I don't care.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of the first experiences, at least for me, where I don't feel stressed about the process. I just am here and I'm enjoying our conversation, knowing that whatever we're putting out right now is coming from our hearts and hoping to give a little golden nugget or something to someone somewhere at any time, right? Because they can pull this up a year from now and it might help them, you know?
I know we already have, because we've gotten comments and we've gotten text messages from people and letting us know that it has already helped them. So that just makes it worth it, like right there. So
yeah, I agree. When people say that they want to tip well, like I do.
yeah, okay. So my husband has been listening to all of the episodes, which I freaking love. It literally makes my heart soar to know that he supports everything that I do. Like, it just is an incredible feeling. And
what did I say about that earlier? If it's not that, I don't want it.
Exactly. It just makes me so happy. And I do value it, not only because he's my husband, but because he's kind of somebody on the outside giving feedback, on how we can do better, and things that we might keep in the back of our minds about when we move forward and as we, progress in our learning and everything else. So, yeah.
Yeah. But what did he say? You can tell him.
So we went to dinner, and he said that this is just one of the comments that he made, but so a few episodes back, Tylene was talking about giving, and she didn't over giving and things like that. And so she was talking about wanting to leave like $100 bills in packs of diapers. And he says, I'm like, Tylene, I'm going to tip good. And then he said, but I'm not putting $100 bills in diaper bags. But he also said somebody at stage 1 and 2 of their growth may not understand the verbiage that we say in some of our episodes, because we're more evolved in our healing process and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but I told him, I said, that's really good feedback, because, he's not somebody that's typically in this space. So it is good to have that,
I love it. And do you know what that means? It means his active listening is on point. Like, that is such a good trait to have in a partner. Like, that active listening that he's got it, right? Like,
it's just great. But
yeah.
So
okay. What's next, Em? I need you.
Okay, so we're moving into Tarot Time with Tylene. I just got to show you guys these. Okay, this is not a plug. This is not nothing, but I am literally addicted to these. They're from Walmart. They are sweetened, dried mangoes. Like, I have
texture issues. I don't know how I would do with that. I need to buy
like a case of these, because I can eat this bag in like one sitting. This is the longest it's been not empty, So I just keep it right here.
That's funny.
I just love them. I just can't. They're my guilty pleasure. I don't know why I decided to tell you, but anywho, Tarot Time with Tylene.
Carry on.
And while you're doing that, Tylene, I do have a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
We were talking about LaCroix when you were in Great Falls, and you said, hey, have you heard of the sunshine flavor? And I said, no, I haven't heard of it, but look what I found at the grocery store.
Oh my
Sunshine flavor. It's got like
so cool
sunflowers on the can. Yep, LaCroix, sparkling water, naturally essence.
That's awesome.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. I think that like initially that noise is for like beer, like the crack.
Yeah, it's okay.
But for me, it makes me excited about all the options.
I mean, one of these days I might crack a beer open on here. I don't know. But for now, it's LaCroix.
For today.
The options are endless.
Which reminds me that the original podcast I was going to do was about drinking and then about, so we need to get into that after our stuff. So,
yep.
Parking lot, but let's not forget that.
Parking lot, because, we talked about it.
Right. Okay. Tarot time with Ty.
Here we go. Also, I just want to say that the sunflower flavor is kind of like, I want to say it's a little bit fruity, but I can't really pinpoint exactly the flavor that's in it. It's a hint of some kind of flavor, but I can't really, it's not really pineapple. Maybe it's a combination of pineapple with other things, but it's really good. It's really
I honestly think that Alyssa told you maybe about the sunflower one on the 3 because it wasn't me.
Sunshine. Oh. Yeah, you asked me about it.
Maybe what did I see it in a store maybe because I've never bought them. Yes. I must have seen it while I was there.
Yes, you saw it in a store. And you asked me if I ever had it.
Because I'm like, I haven't tasted it.
Yeah, super good. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to find it now.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to have to pay for you to ship it to me.
Well, it might be really, really, really fuzzy glitter bomb water by the time it gets to you.
Okay. So I got the Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles are monetary. It's money. It's material for the most part. But the Ace of Pentacles is a manifestation. Okay. So things are moving for you. I'm actually going to pull another card because this is new opportunities. Oh, and you've been stalling on it. So what this means is these offers are coming in. Spirit's giving you literally the keys to the mansion. And you're like, hangman upside down. You're like, but are you? But are you giving it to me? Yes. Yeah. You're getting it. You are getting it. And even though bottom of the deck, you have conflict that comes out, you are the sun. You are the sun. You guys, we've been through like this retrograde. All these things that are happening for us, not to us. And you are being called to focus on the sun, on the silver lining, on the good. Okay. This is absolute magic. It's beautiful. And if you can just know, like you know, that everything is coming to you and happening for you, this is here for you. Just waiting. It's just waiting for you. Just waiting. You are literally the sun. Look at those sunflowers. Confirmation.
I see it.
Confirmation. You are ready. You just have to allow yourself to step into what's already there for you. What? Like there will always be conflict. There will always be people who don't cheer you on. That will happen. That will happen.
Freaking amazing. I just have to interrupt just for a quick second because you said when they know you know or whatever. What did you just say?
Know like you know, like you know.
Know like you know, like you know. It reminds me of a Friends episode, if you're not surprised, because there's an episode
I'm shocked.
when everybody finds out that Chandler and Monica are together and Phoebe says, they don't know that we know they know we know. So it just reminded me of that. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners will know exactly what I'm talking about because it's funny as fuck.
I am so curious. I'm so curious. I would love for people who watch Friends as crazy as you do to like comment in our comment section, because I'm so curious how many people outside of like our group, you guys, I never have watched a full episode. So, but what I also have, what came out is some loss. And this doesn't mean like loss of life, or this could just mean that your circle has changed, that people have adjusted, that the tree shook and the fruit fell and you're left with maybe nothing. And that's okay. What they're saying is it's happening for you. Some stuff is being cleared out so that your son and your offers are bigger and better and more fruitful and more aligned.
Okay.
All right. Lead us into the soul word segment.
You did it. The soul word segment. Oh, I did it wrong. Wait. The soul word segment. So the soul word for today's soul word segment is belonging. And the reason I chose this word is because when you're going through something really fucking hard, a lot of times you just don't know where you belong. And sometimes you feel like you just don't belong anywhere because you feel like nobody understands and there's nobody that is really there to talk to. And so it's just a really hard place to be, because I felt that for so many years, even when I was young in school. I mean, I was the geeky girl that was so freaking skinny. I wore glasses my entire life. You know, I was bullied. I was teased, all this stuff. So I never felt like I really belonged except with my core group. And I think that carried over into my adulthood with my self-esteem and my horribly low, you know, poor self-image. And it wasn't until recently that I really started to feel like I finally fit into my own life and who I am now, the person that I was, even though I feel like I'm transitioning from that person. Obviously, I am still physically that person. You know, I all that stuff made me who I am now. And I finally feel like I finally belong in this time right now. And so for those listening, just really think about a time that you really didn't feel like you belonged, or whether it was in a situation or whether it was just in life in general, whether it was a friend group or a relationship of some type or whatever, and how that made you feel. And just like I've said every episode, just free write. Just write it raw, get it all out. Don't edit it, just get it all out. And then next time, on the next episode, we're going to start to move into the next step of the soul word story method. I know we haven't really gone into the steps too deep yet, but I wanted to wait until I physically had the book in front of me. It's on its way. I actually gave my other copy to someone else that needed it more than I did. And so it's on its way. So I can't wait to show it to you and really dig into the soul word story method in its entirety. So next episode, we'll be able to move into step number 2 of the soul word story method cycle of writing. So I'm excited to share it with you more. And yeah, so there you go. Belonging is your word.
Oh, I was going to say, can we get the word, please? Because that was all beautiful, but I need a word.
I said it.
I just missed it, is all. I was so wrapped up in your story. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because I'm like your fangirl. Like, I love you and I'm like, so support you. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, wait, what was the word?
Yeah, that's it. Belonging.
I love it. And I just really quick, I had a lot of bullying in my elementary school years, which I've now had conversations with my daughter and her friends about, because, you know, it gave me a lot of issues with self-worth and all of the things. So, and that's something we should do an episode on bullying and how it affected us. And our experiences now and like we should do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so before we get into, did you want to say anything else before we go into the next little?
No, I was going to say, go ahead and lead us into our little squirrel moment before we get into the depth of our episode.
Yeah, okay, so I'm really excited about this part. So we had Alyssa on, and a couple episodes back, she was our first guest. And as you all know, at the very end of every episode, we have what we call our outro. It's what we say when we go out. And I'm just going to repeat it for you so you know what I'm talking about. And what we say is, so until next time, take what resonates, leave the rest. And remember, somewhere there's a lion in a Hawaiian shirt that's cheering you on. And we didn't want to explain that until Alyssa got a chance to hear it. And there's a reason why.
And watch the episodes for herself.
Yes. She actually has listened to them, but she hasn't watched them. So I need to actually send her a clip of the intro.
Yeah, she did say that.
Anyway, so when Alyssa was on our episode, she touched on this. It was quite a large subject of our conversation, but she talked about David, her husband, who was my brother-in-law, and he passed away suddenly 3.5 years ago. Yes. They were on a European cruise, and they were coming into port in Liverpool, and he ended up having a stroke on the cruise ship, and so he eventually ended up passing away 5 days later in Liverpool. But David had such an impact on so many people, including the two of us. So we knew that when we started this podcast that we wanted to give some sort of nod or acknowledgement or whatever the word is to him for the influence he had, especially on me for over 30 years. I wouldn't really be 32 years. I can't believe I met him 32 years ago. It's freaking crazy. But anyway, so I wouldn't be who I am today and what I've stepped into now in this phase of my life had it not been for his influence to a certain degree. So we knew that we wanted to give him credit, and this was the best way that we knew how. For those of you that are listening on Spotify or wherever else you're listening on audio, if you go over to YouTube and look up our YouTube channel, you can see the intro clip, and there's other nuggets in there. And on the headers or the thumbnails of our episodes that have the title of the episode and our picture on it, each one has a little lion in the top left-hand corner, because David was a huge Narnia fan. And so that was really important to him. So it was important to us to incorporate that because it was such a big part of his life. And also there's a lion on our intro video. And then if you look really closely, there is a Hawaiian shirt that kind of dances across the screen. It's very faint, but it's there. And that's just another way that we are just kind of giving a nod to David in every episode that we have, because he was this crazy dude that always wore Hawaiian shirts, always made everybody laugh. Like everywhere he went, it was a Hawaiian shirt, danced, wore this fedora. I mean, we could go on story after story after story. But anyway, so that's why we say what we say, because it was important to us to have that bit of, contribution, because his contribution to us was much more significant than just a phrase. But that was just our way of being able to say thank you. So
yes. And I find it pretty significant that us as a pair are sitting here today, and you knew him for 32 years and I knew him for 3, right? Yeah. 2.5, because he's been gone, and the fact that I'm emotional sitting here in the time that I knew him compared to the time that you knew him is a testament to the impact that he makes on people, because he if you had the honor of David gracing you with his presence, you would know what it felt like to be home. You know, you would know what it felt like to be fully supported and loved where you're at, without judgment, without fear. And and I just think that for people who haven't experienced him, I hope that you experience him in your lifetime through someone else. Because having someone in your corner like that, whether it's for 6 months or 32 years, is special. It's really special.
It is.
And David and I were planning, right before he passed, a podcast. Basically, we were going to get on a podcast and we were going to have a bottle of wine, and whoever didn't finish their bottle by the end of the podcast would have to do like a punishment, which would also be filmed. And we would just talk about like basically what we're doing, but like drunk. And then like, you know, the more tipsy you got, the more truth came out, you know, like that was the idea of breaking down the barriers. It wasn't very well thought out, I will say.
No.
We were in Vegas, which is like where you drink. Like, so obviously that's where it kind of came from. But, when he passed, I knew I had to do a podcast. And so I tried multiple times to put it together, but David was supposed to be the tech. I'm not the tech, you know? And so that was really what kind of stopped me, you know, and I know he wanted me to keep pushing. So then I had this podcast all put together. I had the name, I had the vibe, I had pretty much everything cut and dry, ready to go. I just tried multiple times recording and doing different things, and I could not for the life of me get it all together. I've had this mic I bought for the podcast that I was supposed to do with him. And I just never set it up. And then you called me and you're like, I think we're supposed to do a podcast. And I'm like, done.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So anyway, I felt like it was important to share that, and just if y'all are not familiar with what the starfish story is, this is something that really is important to me, which is why I have a starfish tattoo right here by my little semicolon and butterfly. So the story of the starfish, David used to tell this story, but it's about this little boy, and he's walking along the ocean or the beach, and there's just thousands and thousands of starfish, and he's throwing them back one by one. And this old man comes up to him and says, you know, surely you can't make a difference to all those starfish. And the little boy picks one up and throws it in the ocean. And he says, maybe not, but it made a difference to that one. So I have a starfish tattoo on my arm because that's how I felt that what I got from David and Alyssa together. But, they threw me back when I needed to be saved, basically. And so, so that's why I have a starfish. And I made a promise to David after he passed, for those of you that actually believe in that kind of, conversation and communication, but I made a promise that I would never stop throwing starfish, which is another huge reason that I wanted to do this podcast, because I want to do what he did for me and just really have an impact. And if I can impact just one person, then it's all been worth it to me. So, all right. That's all I got. There's more, but that's all I got for right now.
I mean, we could go on for ever, but I'm glad that we talked about it, and I'm glad that we were able to like share that, because I think it's so important, because it's the essence and the start that we had. So let's move into what we wish women knew sooner, like a nod to our past self from the wisdom and love and wholeness that we carry now. And I think in that is something so special, because if I had something like an episode like this that could kind of connect the dots sooner for me, I would have probably done things a lot differently. But then that's all to say that everything happens for us and not to us. And that if none of that stuff happened to me, then I wouldn't be here offering wisdom and from the same light and same space that I'm in. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm not saying I don't want women to not go through adversity to grow. I'm saying here's some tools to move through it faster, to get through the challenges faster, and to feel so much more love and peace within you as you face the challenge. So I just want to preface that, because what we do isn't meant to stop you or remove adversity and challenge. It's meant to guide you in a way to get through it, so that you can figure out what works best for you to get to the other side of it, learn what you're supposed to learn, and still recognize it for what it is, but hold more space and grace for yourself through the process. Does that land for you, Em?
It really does. I think this is definitely an important conversation, but I also want to throw in that when we say what we wish women knew, it's not just about women. We just say that because we are women. This definitely applies to everyone, though, because
for sure,
all the things that we're going to talk about here in just a minute are not simply exclusive to women, because men go through the same struggles. We just use that because we are women. So that's pretty much a lot of our, demographic in our circle is female. So but that doesn't exclude anyone. So
correct, including your husband, who watches every episode.
Correct, Amando.
So I just want to touch on a few things. I'm just going to give a few things that I kind of lump into this subject, and then you can give a few things, and then we can tell a little story, and you know what we do.
Yep.
Okay. So a couple of things that I want to touch on in this space are, I want you to know that you are worthy before you prove anything, that your self-love is not selfish, that the right relationship will never require you to shrink, that money responds to the self-worth that you carry within, that your intuition, which oftentimes is your feels, when you're in your feels, is the real roadmap, not logic. And healing doesn't make you harder, it makes you softer. For us women, it allows us to be in our feminine, and it makes us stronger. And the biggest golden nugget for me to share is that you are allowed to outgrow people, places, and versions of yourself at any time of your life. If you change your mind and you're married, that may have happened to someone that I know. And and you grow and you do everything you can to even that out and to respect it, and and it's still not for you, you get to choose yourself. You get to choose you. You do not have to be in a relationship, no matter how long, how short, who, what, where, when, why. If choosing you means that is not for you anymore, you get to choose that. And nobody gets to tell you how or why. It is a move that you make for yourself. It is something that I continuously model now because I didn't model it before. And I can tell you right now, if my daughter gets married and she chooses, actually, I didn't understand that and this isn't for me, and she respectfully speaks her mind and is honest with herself and the person that she's with, I will 1,000,000,000,000,000% support her in moving on. I will not put her down. I will not judge her. I will give her a safe space that she can come home to. I will support her and I will not question anything. I will definitely give her my thoughts that she could either take or leave because it's her life and her decision. But I will always support her. Can you tell I'm passionate about it?
Just a little.
Just a tad. So those are a few things for me where this subject lands. What are a few things where this subject lands for you? Because the beauty is that we're two separate people with two separate experiences, and we can pull from our own stuff and see the same topic in different ways.
Yeah, so one of the top ones for me is, I think it's that you don't have to qualify your boundaries. It's really, I know we've talked about this before, but no is a full sentence. It's not a paragraph. It's not an apology. It's not a trauma essay. And the people that get mad about your boundary, they were benefiting from your lack of boundary. And this was something that I really had to learn because it became a habit for me to explain myself. The answer is no, because this is why, and I think, I know why I had to do that, because every time I went against what certain people told me, which direction certain people told me I had to go in order to maintain specific relationships in my life, I felt like I had to justify my actions, my answer, whatever it was. And so it wasn't until within the last couple of years that I did learn that no is a full sentence. And it's obviously it's a work in progress, but it's so important to remember that if the answer is no, the answer is no. And then the next one is being the strong one isn't your personality. It's a survival response. That whole thing of be the bigger person. I don't buy into that, because that completely takes out your right to need help, to fall apart. Strong people get exhausted too. And I think it's really important to remember that. So when somebody says, be the bigger person, just walk away. Okay, don't walk away to be the bigger person. Walk away because that's what you need to do to protect yourself. That's not
your peace.
Your peace, not for any other reason. So that's really important too. And your intuition isn't woo-woo. We talk a lot about the woo-woo things and, the words that people don't really understand, but it is a built-in warning system. It's kind of like your Jiminy Cricket that lives on your shoulder, that just whispers in your ear and, tells you when something is going wrong. That's how I envisioned it when I was a kid, just like your own personal Jiminy Cricket. If your stomach flips and your chest tightens and you feel it all over, or, your left eye twitches like a possessed raccoon, you really should, you need to listen to that warning, because it's not just for no reason. There's a reason you're feeling it, and really dig in to figure out why. fight or flight type thing, And the last one I want to talk about is something that I actually had to learn too, just because of the very, very poor self-image that I had, low self-esteem. We talked about me being bullied as I was growing up, and I didn't really fully come into this understanding and realization until maybe within the last year or two, as despite what people have told me that I'm beautiful and, I hear it from my husband all the time, but I had to learn it for myself in order to believe it. And so your body isn't the problem. It's the unrealistic expectations that are. And it just reminds me of like everybody on social media, because we spent so long trying to look like the people who really don't even look like that. These Snapchat filters, they can literally make a shriveled up potato look like a supermodel. So, you just have to realize that it's the unrealistic expectations of society that is the problem. It's not you. So there's way more, but those are just a few that just really resonated with me. So
I love that. And I think all of these topics deserve their own time to really dive in and dissect how that affects, like cause and effect. But the goal today is just to kind of touch on them and give the golden nugget of each of these. Like each thing that we said hopefully resonates with one or all of our listeners, and it's something that they can carry or choose to focus on or choose to deep dive into themselves, so that by the time we do an episode on this, they've kind of already got a little understanding of that and figured out how it resonates and applies with them. And then they can apply it to the guts of the deep dive, So I thought it was really important for us to talk about that. I do want to say, like you talked about, like being bullied. I was also bullied in elementary school, but I would say even more, the word that comes to mind is detrimental, but it's not detrimental, like, because there's the duality of what it meant for me. Anyway, that can get really twisty and turny. But the moment that I realized I was dimming my light as a mother, as a wife, as a family member, just as a human being in general, when I realized there was nothing left to me and I didn't know what my favorite color was. Someone asked me, what's your favorite color? And I was like, gosh, I don't know. That's because I went through all these stages and phases and I lost myself in them. And then when I got to a completely different stage, there was no work done on me. There was nothing left of me to pull from. And I was a different human. I was in a different stage of life with no understanding, with no identity. And so for me, that was, besides, we have our childhood traumas and all of the things, that was my wake up moment where I started learning these things of how to love myself, how to say to people that I matter to without feeling guilty, to say no and know that it means it's a whole sentence, right? To accept a gift. Do you know how long it took me, to accept a gift without over explaining or feeling like, okay, well, how am I going to get them back? What is that going to look like? It should double down. I should do more than them. That is literally my old internal dialogue. Do you know how fucked up that is? It was literally probably 3 years ago, the first time that someone, and I can remember the gift. It was from a real estate broker. And she had these sparkly cups that were made. And I was like, those are so beautiful. She's like, I have one here. Here. And I was like, I just read a book called You Are a Badass. And she told me that I have to accept this without saying anything other than thank you. So thank you. It literally went like, and I was it felt so icky and awkward. But that was like the first experience for me. And now, if someone gives me, it happens all the time. One of my friends and clients, Tammy, sent me a gift in the mail. I'm wearing it.
Oh.
And I know, and it had this little card. It was super sweet. And do you know how quick I got on the phone on text? And I was like, thank you. You're the sweetest. I just love you so much. That's it. Do you know what type of fucking tailspin I would have been in 2 years ago? Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said this to me. What am I going to give her? I didn't ask for this. Where did it come from? Why? You know what I mean? I keep kidding. I mean, I'm just saying.
I was in that place too. I was like, what's the ulterior motive? Like, what do they want back from me? And
right.
When you say, you know, the bullying and all this stuff, and dimming your light, and, you know, that moment that you realize that you matter too. So the moment that I realized that I mattered and that I wasn't going to allow anyone to dim my light anymore. And I think I touched on this very, very briefly in our first or second episode, but there was a moment at my son's wedding when the person that really caused me so much grief for 20 plus years came up to me and extended her hand and thanked me for showing up to my son's wedding. And it wasn't in a genuine thank you gesture. It was more of, well, you should have been here. I'm glad you chose the right thing to do, kind of. It was kind of like in your face. And it was in that moment that I shrunk. I felt like I was about 2 inches tall because I hadn't seen this person in about 6 years. And in that moment, I realized, you know, I'm worth more than this. I'm not going to let you dim my light anymore. And so I really committed at that point to really start digging myself out of the place that I was in for so many years. And I came home and I got on the phone with a really, really good friend of mine since childhood, 3rd grade. And, you know, she said to me, she said, you know, Emmy, when you got married, you were 17 years old. And when you got divorced from your children's father, you were 20 years old. Your brain was not even fully developed. So do not blame yourself for anything that happened. You can't. You were just a child yourself. And in that moment, I did start to forgive myself. Little bits at a time, because I knew there were hard conversations that I would have to have with my kids. And, you know, I do want to get into that in one of the next few episodes, because I do want to share that story because it tells a lot about where I was and where I am now. But anyway, I started chipping away at it a little bits at a time. And now I know for a certain that I will never let anyone stomp on me the way that I was stomped on for so many years, because I am worth so much more than that. You know, I was bullied into my adulthood by this person. It was straight up gaslighting, narcissistic manipulation, and nothing short of bullying. And I will never let anyone do that to me again. And I think that kind of goes along with everything we've said. You know, my nervous system, my intuition was, all these red flags were coming up, but I didn't know how to respond other than justifying when I would say no, or here's why I did what I did, or which is why I would question, why are you giving me this? What do you want in return? Because I felt like there was, I will do this for you, but you have to do this for me back. You know, so I was always questioning that. So everything we just talked about, I've felt through my entire life. And I'm starting to learn what it means to actually use those tools and that advice in a more positive way instead of having to use it to survive.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to recognize that once you experience the bullying, like, so for us in like our younger years, it's so much easier for us to fall into that because it becomes the chaos becomes comfortable for us or normal. And so we automatically kind of connect to and find that first in our next situation, whether it be a relationship or what have you, right? And so it's a lot easier to fall into that when you're subconsciously but subconsciously, that's what you cling to in the situations as you go from situation to situation in your life. And we get used to those patterns. And when they show up again, we connect to that. That becomes our comfort. And so we connect to that first. Yeah. And so I think that is also important to know, is that you can break the pattern, but it starts with awareness and recognition of where that pattern comes from and why, for you to understand where it's at so you can start breaking or removing the little pieces. And sometimes that happens in onion layers, and sometimes it happens all at once. Every situation is different, but I think with your situation, it really lays out like the long-term effects and then how it can keep happening, because it started very young for you, and it carried into your late adult life, which I think also happened for me. I mean, I've had ups and downs, and I've had really great moments. I'm not saying it was all like that. I'm just saying that in other situations, especially relationships, I clung more to the chaos of it. And then the other side of that, which is going to be a different episode, is how, the people pleasing aspect of it and how I felt when I was giving. So, and that's something we have to unpack on a different episode, because we're out of time. But yeah. Well, I hope that some or all of that resonated for people. We have so much more of this, so much more to share, so much more to talk through, that we really hope will help you unpack yourself, what's going on in your life. We have a lot of really cool special guests coming on that carry their own knowledge and their modalities and what they do out in the world. And I'm so excited to bring that here and be able to share that with everyone. So stay tuned for that. And over to you.
All right. Well, let's move into her vibe check. So let's talk about our top takeaways. I will just start talking because I'm in front of the mic, so might as well. I think mine is just being really proud of the progress that I personally have made, and by applying these things that I wish I understood. I think I knew them, but I wish I understood them earlier. So applying what I didn't understand earlier in my life compared to what I know now, I'm really proud of myself for getting where I am. So I feel like that's mine.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
My takeaway today for me, selfishly, is that we got to share so much on this episode of David and the reason for our podcast. And I just am so grateful in this moment, the energy that I feel, that I think the whole episode, I just want to pick up the whole episode and take it away. I'm proud of where we're at. And I think that we now get to have a voice, which gives so much healing in itself. When we speak on stage and when we help people in that way, I heal so much when I do that. It's such a cool exchange where I'm giving and receiving and at the same time. And I feel like this is such a big way of doing that, because every time we record, I get to give, but I also receive so much from doing this. So.
Yay, that's so great. Yay. Okay, well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and don't forget you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. So, until next time, take what resonates, leave the rest, and remember, somewhere a lion in a Hawaiian shirt is cheering you on. Bye, everybody.
Bye.